The sky was clear and blue that morning, and the sun was shining brightly. People went about their daily lives, unaware that something strange was coming. Suddenly, far above the clouds, giant shadows began to move. At first, no one could believe their eyes. Slowly, huge alien ships appeared, dark and enormous, blocking the sunlight. They floated silently, but with a power that made every person on Earth stop and look up in fear. In cities, towns, and villages, people ran outside and stared at the strange ships. The news on every screen screamed the same words: aliens are here. Panic spread like wildfire. Governments tried to stay calm, but they had no real plan. Their weapons and soldiers were not ready for this kind of threat. People were confused and scared. Far away from the busy cities in a small town, a young girl named Sarah was sitting in her small workshop. She loved machines. Her little hands could fix anything: broken radios, old bikes, even the clocks that nobody else could fix. Her best friend was her small toolkit, filled with screwdrivers, wires, and tiny parts she used every day. Sarah looked up when she heard the loud sounds outside. People were shouting and running. She turned on the TV and saw the giant alien ships hovering in the sky. Her heart beat fast. She had never seen anything like this before. "We have to do something," she whispered to herself. Sarah knew she was just a girl with simple tools, but she felt a strong need to help. She remembered the lessons her father had taught her. Always stay calm, always think clearly, and never give up. She grabbed her toolkit and ran outside. Around her, neighbors were shouting and crying. The city was slowly shutting down as people tried to find safety. But Sarah's mind was working fast. She watched the ships carefully. She noticed something. The aliens were scanning the area with strange beams of light. The beams made machines stop working, and even phones and cars lost power. Sarah understood one thing clearly: these aliens wanted to control Earth's machines. Without machines, humans would be weak. Back in her workshop, Sarah quickly started planning. She opened her toolkit and began putting together small gadgets and devices. She used wires from old radios and batteries from broken toys. Her hands moved fast and steady. She worked quietly but with great focus. While Sarah prepared, the news showed scenes from around the world. Alien ships were landing in big cities. Soldiers tried to stop them but found their guns useless. The aliens walked out, tall and strange, with weapons that could destroy buildings with a single blast. People ran for their lives. Sarah's small town was next. She could see bright lights coming from the sky. The alien ships were descending closer and closer. Sarah finished her gadgets and hid them in her backpack. She didn't tell anyone what she was doing. Many people thought she was just a scared girl, but Sarah was ready to prove them wrong. The aliens began landing near Sarah's town. Huge metal doors opened on their ships. Alien soldiers stepped out, scanning the area with cold, glowing eyes. The air was heavy with fear. Sarah stayed calm. She took a deep breath and moved towards the nearest ship. She wanted to see what she could learn. Using her small toolkit, Sarah carefully touched some alien machines. She was surprised to find some parts looked like human-made circuits but more advanced and dangerous. Suddenly, an alien guard turned and saw her. It shouted in a strange language. Sarah froze for a moment but then ran as fast as she could back to her workshop. Her heart was pounding. She had seen how strong and dangerous the aliens were, but she also found something important. Their machines could be hacked or broken if she used the right tools. That night, Sarah worked harder than ever. She made new gadgets from scrap metal, wires, and batteries. She created small robots that could sneak into alien ships and spy. She built devices that could block alien signals. Her town was quiet but filled with fear. People stayed inside their homes hoping for safety. Sarah knew she could not wait. If she didn't act soon, the aliens would take over everything. The next morning, Sarah stood on a hill looking at the alien ships around her town. She held her small toolkit tightly. Then, from the sky, huge ships started opening their big doors. Alien vehicles rolled out, and soldiers spread across the fields. Sarah's eyes burned with determination. This is just the beginning, she thought. They came to conquer Earth, but they don't know who they are dealing with. The sun set slowly, and the city lights went out as the aliens cut the power. Sarah's story was just starting. With only a small toolkit and a brave heart, she was ready to fight back. The morning sun barely lit the streets of Sarah's town. The air was thick with tension. Alien machines moved silently, controlling everything: the power, the communication, even the weather devices. People stayed inside, afraid to step out. The once lively town was now a quiet place of fear. Sarah did not hide. She knew she had to act. With her small toolkit on her back, she left her house carefully. Every sound made her heart jump. She moved like a shadow, staying close to walls, watching the alien patrols carefully. The aliens were strange and tall, with glowing eyes and metal suits that made no sound. They looked cold and dangerous. They were breaking machines, smashing cars, and destroying communication towers. Their goal was clear: to stop any human resistance. Sarah's first mission was simple but risky. She needed to disable a small alien device placed near the town's power station. If she could do that, the town might get some power back, and people could communicate again. Creeping through broken streets, Sarah reached the device. It was a strange metal box with blinking lights and wires everywhere. Her hands shook, but she opened her toolkit calmly. Using a small screwdriver and wire cutters, she started working on the device. Minutes felt like hours. She heard footsteps behind her. An alien soldier was coming fast. Sarah froze for a moment but kept working. Just as the alien reached her, she pulled a small spark from the wires, causing a short circuit. The device exploded in a small flash of light. The alien stopped and looked confused. Sarah took the chance and ran as fast as she could. Her heart pounded wildly as she dodged patrols and hid in shadows. She reached a safe house where some neighbors were hiding. Her small victory gave hope to the people. They whispered about Sarah's courage. But the aliens were angry. They started hunting for the person who dared to fight back. Meanwhile, Sarah knew she had to help more people. She moved from house to house, fixing small machines with her toolkit. She repaired radios so people could hear messages. She fixed small robots left behind by soldiers. One day, while helping an old man fix his radio, Sarah heard something alarming. The aliens were preparing a big attack on the town's center. They wanted to destroy the human resistance base there. Sarah rushed to warn the resistance leaders. They listened carefully and planned a defense. Sarah volunteered to lead a small group to sabotage alien weapons before the attack. That night, Sarah and her friends sneaked near the alien camp. Using her toolkit, she created small traps and bugs to jam the aliens' communication. Her quick thinking stopped the aliens from calling for reinforcements. Suddenly, alarms blared. Aliens discovered them. A chase began. Sarah's group ran through dark alleys and fields. She used her tools to block alien vehicles and confuse their sensors. The chase was dangerous, but Sarah's clever traps helped them escape. She saved her friends several times by quickly fixing broken bridges and doors using her small tools. After hours of running, they returned to the resistance base. Everyone was tired but safe. Sarah's bravery was clear. The resistance now believed that even simple tools and a smart mind could fight the alien threat. But Sarah knew this was only the beginning. The aliens would come back stronger, and she had to be ready. As the sun rose, Sarah looked at the sky full of alien ships. Her small toolkit was heavy on her back, but her spirit was stronger than ever. The battle for Earth was just starting, and Sarah was ready to fight. Days passed since Sarah's daring attack on the alien camp. The town was still tense, but there was a small spark of hope. People whispered Sarah's name with respect, calling her a hero. But Sarah knew the fight was far from over. The aliens were not just strong, they were smart. Sarah needed to learn more about their technology if she wanted to win. One evening, as the sun set behind the ruined city, Sarah received an unexpected visitor. It was Kieran, a young scientist who had been working secretly for the resistance. He carried a strange device wrapped in cloth. I found this near the alien ship, Kieran said quietly. I think it holds secrets we need. Sarah carefully unwrapped the device. It was small, no bigger than her hand, but covered in strange symbols and blinking lights. It looked like a communication tool, but unlike anything Sarah had ever seen. We need to understand how it works, Sarah said. Maybe we can use it against them. Kieran nodded. They took the device to a hidden lab beneath the town, where resistance scientists studied alien tech in secret. For hours, Sarah watched as Kieran and his team worked. They carefully opened the device and studied its circuits. Suddenly, the device lit up and started showing strange images, star maps, alien faces, and codes. Sarah's heart beat faster. This device was a key to understanding the aliens' plans. Well, they worked. Sarah kept thinking about the aliens she had seen. They looked strong, but there was something more. She remembered a moment when one of the alien soldiers hesitated during the fight. Could the aliens have doubts? Could they be afraid? Sarah shared her thought with Kieran. Maybe they are not. All the same. Maybe some don't want this war. Kieran looked surprised but agreed. If we can find those who want peace, maybe we can stop the fighting. The next day, Sarah planned a risky mission. She wanted to capture an alien soldier, alive. She needed to talk with them to find out if there were any secrets or ways to stop the war. With a small team, Sarah moved carefully near the alien camp. They used the traps and gadgets she had made before. The goal was to capture, not kill. After hours of searching, they spotted a lone alien soldier separated from the others. Sarah gave a signal. The team quickly surrounded the soldier. The alien was tall and strong, but when Sarah looked into his eyes, she saw fear and confusion. He did not fight back. Sarah stepped forward slowly, holding her hands up. "We don't want to hurt you," she said. "We want to talk." The alien looked at her, then slowly lowered his weapon. Sarah's heart raced. This was the moment she had hoped for. They brought the alien to the resistance base. Scientists studied him carefully. He was different from the others. His eyes showed pain and a desire for peace. Sarah learned his name was Zorak. He said the alien leaders forced them to fight. Not all aliens wanted war, but they had no choice. This surprised Sarah. The enemy was not just evil, they were trapped too. Sarah and Zorak talked for hours. He shared secrets about the alien ships, their weapons, and their weaknesses. He told Sarah about a hidden base where the aliens made their most dangerous weapons. Sarah knew this was the chance they needed, but Zorak warned her, if your people attack that base, the war will become much worse. Sarah understood the danger. She needed a plan that would save lives on both sides. As night fell, Sarah stood on the hill looking at the stars. The war was not just about fighting anymore. It was about finding a way to survive. With new knowledge and an unexpected friend, Sarah prepared for the battles ahead. Sarah could not stop thinking about what Zorak had told her. The hidden alien base was the key to the war. If they destroyed it, maybe Earth could be safe. But if they failed, everything could get worse. Sarah met with the resistance leaders to share the news. The room was full of tension. Everyone wanted to act fast, but they also feared the risk. "We need a smart plan," Sarah said. "We can't just attack blindly." The leaders agreed. They gave Sarah a small team to lead a secret mission to find the base and gather more information. Sarah packed her small toolkit and said goodbye to the town. Everyone looked at her with hope and fear. Sarah felt the weight of their trust. The journey was dangerous. The team moved through forests, mountains, and broken cities. They used small drones and maps from Zorak to guide them. After days of travel, they reached a hidden cave. Inside, the walls were covered with strange lights and alien symbols. Sarah's heart beat fast. This was the place. Suddenly, they heard footsteps. Aliens were nearby. The team hid quietly. A group of alien soldiers passed, talking in a language no one understood. Sarah watched carefully. She noticed a small control panel on the cave wall. Using her toolkit, she quietly opened the panel and saw a map of the entire base. She pointed to the screen. "Look here. This is where the main weapons are." The team took photos and copied the data. They had the information they needed, but then alarms started ringing. The aliens discovered them. Sarah shouted, "Run!" The team ran through dark tunnels, chased by soldiers and flashing lights. Sarah used her toolkit to block doors and create smoke screens. Her quick thinking saved them several times. Outside the cave, they found a small hovercraft waiting. They jumped inside and escaped just before alien reinforcements arrived. Back at the resistance base, Sarah shared the information. The secret base was real, and it was even bigger than they thought. Now they had to decide. Should they attack the base or try to negotiate peace with the aliens who wanted to stop the war? Sarah looked at the stars again that night. The choice was hard, but she was ready for whatever came next. The battle for Earth's future was far from over. The resistance leaders gathered in a large room filled with maps and screens. Sarah stood at the center, holding the data from the secret alien base. The room was quiet, but full of tension. "We have two choices," Sarah said. "We can attack the alien base and try to destroy their weapons, or we can try to find peace with the aliens who do not want war." Some leaders shouted for attack. They were angry and wanted revenge for the destruction the aliens had caused. Others were afraid. They worried about losing more lives if the war got worse. Sarah looked at the faces around her. She felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. "I say we try peace first," Sarah said. "If we fail, then we fight. But we must try to stop the war without more bloodshed." The leaders discussed and argued for hours. In the end, they agreed to send a small team to meet with the alien soldiers who wanted peace. Sarah volunteered to lead the mission. The next day, Sarah and her team prepared for the dangerous meeting. They packed only what they needed: communication, devices, basic weapons, and Sarah's trusty toolkit. Zorak, the alien who had joined the resistance, agreed to help. He would guide them to the alien leaders who wanted peace. The journey to the meeting place was tense. Sarah's team moved quietly through the damaged city, always watching for enemy patrols. When they arrived, a group of aliens waited. They looked different from the soldiers Sarah had fought before. Their eyes were calm, and they held no weapons. The leader stepped forward. "We do not want this war. Our leaders forced us. We want peace." Sarah felt hope growing inside her. "We want peace, too. Let's find a way to stop the fighting." For hours they talked. They shared stories and fears. They promised to work together for a better future. But just as hope grew, a loud explosion shook the ground. Outside, the sound of war was still strong. Sarah looked at the aliens. "We must end this now, together." The team prepared for the hardest fight yet, not just for Earth, but for peace in the galaxy. The hope for peace was short-lived. Just after the meeting, a powerful explosion rocked the city. Enemy forces loyal to the war-hungry alien leaders had launched a surprise attack. Sarah and her team had little time to prepare. The resistance scrambled to defend their home. Sarah grabbed her toolkit and ran to the command center. The city's defense systems were old and damaged, but Sarah believed she could fix them if she acted fast. With her team covering her, Sarah worked quickly, repairing control panels and connecting broken wires. Sparks flew and alarms blared, but she stayed focused. Outside, alien ships fired lasers and soldiers stormed the streets. The resistance fighters fought bravely, but they were outnumbered. Suddenly, Sarah's repairs paid off. The city's defense. Turrets powered up and began firing back at the attackers. The tide of battle started to turn, but Sarah knew this was just the beginning. The enemy's main weapon was still at their secret base, a powerful bomb that could destroy the entire city. Sarah and her team raced against time. They boarded a small hovercraft and sped toward the alien base, ready for their final mission. As they neared the base, enemy ships appeared in the sky. Sarah's heart pounded. This was the moment that would decide the future of Earth. Using every trick she knew, Sarah dodged enemy fire and landed near the base. They moved silently through the tunnels, avoiding patrols. Finally, they reached the bomb's control room. Sarah's hands trembled as she opened her toolkit. She carefully examined the strange alien device. The bomb's timer was counting down, only minutes left. With sweat on her brow, Sarah used her small tools to cut wires and disable circuits. Every second felt like a lifetime. The timer stopped. The bomb was disarmed. Suddenly, alarms blared again. More soldiers were coming. Sarah's team fought hard to escape. Bullets flew, and explosions shook the walls. Back outside, the resistance forces had pushed back the enemy ships. The battle was almost over. Sarah looked at the sky, tired but proud. The war was not completely over, but Earth had won an important fight. The battle was over, but the war was not finished. The aliens who wanted peace now had a stronger voice. The war-hungry leaders were weakened, but they still threatened Earth from the shadows. Sarah stood on a hill overlooking the city. The sky was clear, and the stars shone brightly. The city was damaged, but alive. People were rebuilding homes, planting gardens, and helping each other heal. Sarah's small toolkit was worn and scratched, but it had helped save the planet. She smiled, thinking about everything she had done, and all that was still to come. The leaders of Earth and the peaceful aliens met to make a new agreement. They promised to work together, share knowledge, and protect each other from those who wanted war. Sarah was invited to speak at the meeting. She told everyone, "We are stronger when we stand together, not just humans or aliens, but all who want peace." The crowd cheered. For the first time, hope filled the air. But Sarah knew challenges remained. The war-hungry aliens were still out there, waiting for a chance to strike again. She looked up at the stars and whispered, "If they come back, we will be ready." Sarah's story spread across Earth and beyond. She became a symbol of courage, hope, and the power of one person to change the future. The galaxy had seen Earth's strength, not just in weapons or ships, but in the heart of a young girl with a simple toolkit. And the new dawn had just begun.